You have been wondering what's going to happen when we just touch and tap at these points. Now, even if you just go and then wave your hand, you are disturbing a lot of electrons. That's true. That is scientific. But when you tap here, you are impacting the brain in a very significant way, although you do not know. That's the whole idea of people putting this, what is called the nama. Some of the people may not have seen that, particularly in the West. This is a picture of the nama, the forehead, and then the middle, the yellow and the red, represent the middle line that I'm talking about that corresponds to the midbrain. And then here you can see on this picture of a man, you can see the lines going up, and then they are trying to activate the brain in a significant way. So don't think that just tapping it doesn't have an effect. And here is a hand, wearable EEG machine. I have better machines also, which I use, and sometimes I use this machine too. So if you put to this machine, you will know how the brainwave changes. Okay? Although we do not know how, luckily we have these EEG devices which can measure. So, so this is a very powerful technique. That's why people have experienced a tremendous amount of peace and clarity and so forth in while practicing this technique. And I have mentioned that no technique is as powerful as this one. I for people who are not into spiritual practices and they have a very busy life, it's a great technique and much more powerful than a sit-down meditation for half an hour. You are really not having any experience and fighting with thoughts, because you often are irritated by the mind. But this here, when you go and touch, this is more significant. There are a lot of things going on here. This particular finger, if you use this, it's very powerful because this is the ring finger or the love finger, and then this is this. If you touch this with this finger, that has an effect. If you do it with this finger, that has another effect. If you do this with another finger, this finger, there is an effect. It is scientific. Also, this belongs to the science of mudras. So when you do a mudra like this, a Shin mudra is called, and then bending this to the index finger and then getting it under the thumb, you will have significant. You can easily, if you have a EEG machine, you can see what happens when you keep that position, like the Buddha, Dakshinamurti, and the gods are doing. And there is a scientist who has studied that and who was studying agraphia, which is a disease of unable to write properly, because there is a coordination between the brain and the fingers. And Hitzman, he was the guy who have done a lot of research on that. But anyway, so it's important to use this finger and then tap it. And also I want to make a few announcements before we practice this technique. On June 4th, I'm going to do a program on brain training that will be free for everyone all over the world, and that will be a precursor for my Guru Purnima event on July 16th. So I invite you for that program. And also another announcement is this morning I did a video on turmeric, and I will also I'm planning to do more videos on this, how radiations affect us, and then it is particularly about turmeric which has become a very big medicine in these days, not medicine, at least medicine in the Ayurvedic and Siddha tradition, but in the West it is a herb that there are hundreds of research on its benefits. I want also you to look at that. Now we will go to the meditation. Close your eyes and then tap, tap, tap. 1, feel it. 2, feel it. 3, feel it. You have to feel it. You will see tremendous amount of vibration all around the Bru chakra. 1, feel it. 2, feel it. 3, feel it. 1, feel it. 2, feel it. 3, feel it. Keep feeling it. You can sit in this position for a few minutes so that you can get the full benefit of this meditation. God bless.